All right, everybody, quick word from our sponsor, KJO Insurance. Look, being forced to rely on a GoFundMe might suck, but knowing you have a life insurance policy waiting for your family if anything happens, that doesn't suck. KJO makes it simple and affordable. Please DM at KJO Insurance with Pitchside or call 208-883-4800.
Welcome into the score prediction section of this episode. We are really looking forward to this Westchester SC clash at home, the second ever home game at LeBois Park in Boise, Idaho. Kyle, what went into your thoughts when thinking about what the final score of this game is going to be?
Hmm. Um, Hopefully the goalie has a bad game and we
Yeah.
can just keep the pressure up. This definitely isn't going to be a clean sheet for either team. If it was, I would be incredibly surprised. Um, I just think we have a little bit too much. I wouldn't as is it firepower? We do look like we're scoring goals, and that's one thing in our. We have the Discord with the River Garden, and one person did ask us to try and like research like what's the record for the most like games in a row that a new expansion team has scored, and because we're at four, we've scored
Mm,
in four consecutive games, and I wonder how long any expansion team has gone scoring a goal each game. So that's something I still need to research. Um,
mm.
but yeah, we're gonna score. Like I feel like it's just this the way we play, but also this team is super direct. They are overperforming their XG, and they're gonna overload the midfield, and that scares me. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's this is gonna be a really tough one to predict.
Yeah,
Really
I
tough.
think as we mentioned in the earlier part, I could see it go one way and it be a 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, or I could see it where my heart is kind of leaning where it's going to be a high scoring affair. We're going to get hopefully a lot of goal celebrations, but also potentially a lot of hanging our heads and saying, "Oh man, how did we let that goal in?" So, I'll start us off with the predictions as I have yet to predict a goal scorer or a final score. So I am down 3-1 after you once again willed Dennis Kostishin to score a goal. I'm be interested to see if you continue this streak or if you have to let it cool down for two games like you did last time. But my final prediction for today's game or Saturday's game is going to be 4-3. Looking back at my predictions, I've always had the opposition scoring one goal every game that we've done this prediction, so I
Hmm.
had to change it up. Uh, I don't know if it's just I like odd numbers for opposition scores because I've only said 1 and 3 now, but I'm seeing it being a high scoring affair. I
Yeah.
see AC Boise unlocking their offense a little bit more and getting all chances across the line and kind of cracking that nut that is Andrew Hammersley, the goalie for Westchester SC. So I'm saying 4-3, and we're going to feed Nick Moon the first goal. And he's going to be the only player to score once in back-to-back games at home for Athletic
If
Club Boise.
if if this goalie wasn't play like if it was another team, I'm like 4-3, this guy's insane. What are you talking about? But I could see it. Like it doesn't sound that crazy. Like against this team and also against us. Like, okay, I could see us giving up three goals. I could see it. So yeah, that's
Yeah, they
that's
lost.
not that's not as crazy of a prediction as I think as like I you would usually think when you hear 4-3. So I
Yeah,
could
they
see it.
lost 2-5 today in their U.S. Cup Open match. So obviously against an MLS side in New York City, but I think there is an opportunity there for AC Boise to pounce and
Oh,
to
I
score a
agree.
lot and have the first ever 3+ goal match.
Yep, I could see it. And I just realized up until last week, I have predicted the away team or the team we're playing to score two goals against us each game. I went
Mm.
4-2, 2-2, 3-2, and I'm going to repeat the 3-2. So I'm not going to go quite as aggressive as you, but a 3-2 is still a fun game. 3-2 is
Yeah.
still a great game. Only it'll be a better result than what we had against Omaha. And I am going to say Luan. I
Ooh.
would love to see Luan. I think this is a good team for him to kind of get his first like open play goal. I know he scored the one penalty for us. but he needs to put the ball in the back of the net from open play. I think that just to get him off the ground and get him running. I know before the season started, I predicted Luan to kind of like come in and really hit the ground running and be scoring a lot just based off of his profile that I was able to find some videos and different things. He seemed like a player who again he's left-footed and it's a really good he's got a really good shot. So hoping to see more of that. So I'm going to say Luan's going to him and he might have a double. He might have a brace.
Wow.
It would be awesome to see. So this is more of like me like trying to will it like for him to be like, all right, man, let's get some confidence. Let's get you off the ground. We don't need penalties. Like we don't need a Dennis Kostishin finish either. Like let's get a tap in. Let's get a header. Let's just get you off the ground.
Yeah, I wishing that. I think I maybe predicted the opposite, where I think I thought Luan would have a little bit of time that needed to come up to speed to American soccer and the pace that is the USL versus what it was like in Brazil or the other places he has played. So obviously we'd
Portugal.
love, yeah, Portugal. Obviously we'd love for him to connect the dots and get going and get red hot and just put goals in the back of the net and do what a true number nine needs to be doing. But, it is, we still are not even a quarter of the way through the season. So we have plenty of games for him to figure things out and get his crap together and be the amazing goal scorer that we know he can be.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I guess, positional players, do we see a starting 11 change? I
I don't
know
know. It'd be nice if
every,
the club knew,
yeah,
because
yeah,
their starting lineup changed like three times
yeah, well.
within an hour.
They did. I was pleasantly surprised to see a starting lineup released an hour before kickoff.
Yeah,
But then that starting lineup did get removed and updated. And then
twice.
no, they never actually updated it with the fully correct starting lineup, unfortunately. They
So
did.
even the one that they stuck with, it wasn't right.
Yeah, I think they had
Oh
Charlie
my
Adams
gosh.
playing and Musa on the bench, and Charlie was not playing, and Musa was slotted in
I
for his
think I
position.
think that's what I'm gonna go with. I think it's the but
So is
Musa
Charlie
hasn't
just only going to play home games this year?
but Musa hasn't done anything. See, we do have a decision conundrum. It feels like we have one player who is kind of the odd man out when it comes to his performances have not warranted him being benched, but I feel like his upside just isn't quite. When it comes to the midfield, I would prefer to see Charlie in there after seeing how he played. Now, given Blake's set piece delivery was a lot better last game, but Charlie's against Spokane was really, really, really good. So I would love to see that aspect brought into the team again. And Musa is the natural guy to step out of midfield. Now, does he step onto the bench because of that and Ricketts keeps his spot, or does that move Ricketts to the bench? I don't. I would go like 55-45. Ricketts keeps his spot just
Mhm.
based off of the initial lineup that was announced for our last game against AV Alta. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Charlie starting midfield and Ricketts retaining his spot
Hmm.
in central defense with Musa moving to the bench, but he will be the first guy off the bench.
Yeah.
Like more than likely, probably for Charlie, because Charlie obviously isn't 100% fit, it seems like.
Yeah, it definitely seems like he potentially is nursing some kind of injury. We haven't seen a injury report in a little while, so we're just as much in the dark about that as you are. But we'll try and get to the bottom of it and see if it is injury related or if there was just something else going on. But yeah, I would agree. I think the front five, let's just call it, of Dennis, Toomey, Luan, Nick, and Blake, I think are kind of locks,
Yeah.
barring surprise injuries or surprise knocks in practice. I think, yeah, that the whole Musa, Ricketts, Adams trio of who starts and who doesn't is definitely something I'd be interested to see. I do like I do like having Musa playing and Jonathan out because at least when
Mm.
we saw it in against the Spokane match, that sub for Adams for Ricketts lets Musa. just as has happened in back-to-back games for that sub, he then transitions kind of positions and gives either Ricketts the right center back role or the right wing back role, and he slides back into that right center back position. Whereas if it was flipped, it would be Musa comes on for Adams, and it's just a like for like. Maybe that would be preferred so that you're not playing two different roles while never leaving
Mm,
the pitch versus you're coming on knowing your role for replacement.
mm,
Who knows? It's definitely an argument and definitely something that I think all Athletic Club Boise fans are thinking what's going to happen because I think Andema, whether you like him or not, he's the starting goalie
yeah.
until otherwise proven.
Yep.
Jake and Jake on the left and central side are your starting left and right central center backs. It's really that.
Which I would, if Bennion ever is fit, I would love to see him get into a game.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd love to
and
see Hayden Sargis also get some time. I'm really interested to see what the Las Vegas Lights lineup is going to look like. I think that will
yeah.
tell a lot as to maybe the rotational aspects of this team and what we see the USL Cup round robin time to be. But that is for a future episode and a future time. I think my biggest question mark besides those is what Philip Mayaka are we going to get against
Mm,
Westchester SC? Are we going to get the Sarasota or Union Omaha Philip Mayaka, who was kind of just unleashed and let roam and let do whatever he wants, box to box, create havoc, score goals, just be everywhere? Or are we going to see maybe this more defensive minded, almost kind of looks
mm,
like he's on a leash of like, hey, like we can't have you doing this. And maybe that was because I guess in the Omaha game, Toomey wasn't there, and maybe with Toomey back, that role changed. But Toomey was in the lineup against Sarasota when we won, and Toomey and Philip were both all over the pitch. So I'm just really interested to see which player, not even which player shows up, but what his role and what the game plan is to deploy Philip Mayaka. If maybe those first two games were just something, and really his
yeah.
position is what we're seeing now, or are we
I
massaging out what that role looks like?
I don't think his first two games were a flash in the pan. I think that is the player that's always going to be in there. And again, it's how free can he be? How
Mm-hmm.
much are we going to let him really kind of roam around? And yeah, I think maybe the teams that we played kind of had game plans to play around him, to not attack him, just not let him get as much of a foothold in the game as he did have in the first couple of weeks. So that'll be really interesting to see, because obviously you want to see, I think I've said this a couple times, as like Philip Mayaka goes, it seems like as AC Boise goes, if Philip's playing well, we're going to be playing well. So he is our metronome, it feels like. So that'll be really interesting because you want to see him as involved as possible. Because sure, can he sometimes dribble his way into trouble randomly? Yeah, he can.
Mm-hmm.
However, he's been the one that has made the most things happen on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. He can be everywhere. He's, and maybe again, you had mentioned the Las Vegas Lights game and the USL Cup. It would be really nice to see him maybe rest his legs for a game,
Mm-hmm.
because Dom has also played really well. So maybe that's where Dom steps in and Jackson Stevens steps in. Uh, Charlie Adams gets another game and he
Mm-hmm.
starts again, or Musa. So maybe let's try and let him, knowing he may have a game of, a rest game on the horizon. Maybe we just, keep him running as hard as he can for the next couple of games until then. Um, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
because
a that's a good
besides,
that's a good point, Musa, or excuse me, Philip. You know, he's our most important player so far.
yeah, I agree. And I think I am no tactical genius. I am not Nate Miller. I will
Mhm.
never say that I know better than what Nate knows for this team. But it just seems, at least in those first two games, Musa, whoever that defensive midfielder was truly defensive midfield and like a holding midfielder, and allowed Philip to be creative and use that space and just do what he did best in those 2 games. While it feels like in the Spokane match and specifically in the AV Alta match, where they were kind of constantly rotating, where one was pressing forward and the other held back. It just at times created that miscommunication, which led to that goal in the AV Alta match at least once, if not for both goals. So that's just maybe my 3 cents and maybe just having more rigidity. But I know Nate Miller is all about having chaos and all about this press and wanting to be aggressive. It's just at times, as we saw, that aggression can come to bite you in the butt.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Philip,
yeah.
Besides Jake Dengler and Jake Kroll, Blake Bodley and Philip Mayock are the 2 only other players to play all 360 plus minutes of Athletic Club Boise's games. Every other player has been subbed off at some point or missed a game.
I'm very surprised about Blake.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, has Keegan Euler not come on? I guess Keegan Euler
Nick
comes
Moon
on for
has
Nick
been
Moon.
his sub. Toomey has finished every game that he started as well, but he did miss the Omaha
not
game.
Bad.
So
not bad for a 30-something years old who runs a lot.
He's got a motor. So good on Philip for putting so many miles on, along with Blake and Toomey. But definitely they deserve a rest, maybe against the Las Vegas Lights, and see what that looks like. So
fair enough.
That's all for today's wrap up Scouting Our Prey score prediction episode. We really look forward to seeing you all on Saturday night for this clash against Westchester SC. It is probably Kyle's last home game, so if you do see us, say hi. Last home game for at least a month.
At least. So
So we will definitely be looking forward to seeing you all.
I'll have bigger bags under my eyes.
Bigger bags.
My eyes will be glassed over.
We'll see. I'm predicting a 4-3. Kyle's predicting a 3-2. We both want to see goals. I think we all in Boise want to see goals, and we look forward to seeing it all with you. And that is going to be Elias and Kyle signing off for today's Scouting Our Prey episode.
See you guys on Saturday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's all for today's episode. If you enjoy the show, make sure to like, comment, share with a friend, and make sure you're following the show wherever you listen. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube for all updates and future content to come. If you want to help support the pod and get access to exclusive content, early episodes, and bonus perks, head over and check out our Patreon. It truly helps us keep this thing growing. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for being part of the community, and we'll catch you in the next one.